For you?
We actually would, in that day, we would do our own choreography. We would make up, Joni and I would make up the steps. We call them the steps. We make up the steps. And, but through the years, especially after family, we started ballet classes. And, there was a step I remember in Greatest Dancer where we literally had to have our leg only, right up next to the ear. And that was a part of the step. So we would always, and I learned that later in life that our band, someone told me once, we were some of the pioneers of doing huge steps like that. I didn't know, thank God for spandex. But we were the spandex queens. But we would definitely always do our own choreography in the early days.
Yeah.
And as far as clothes.
Yeah.
Rochelle Taylor. With us, we would get the same outfit, different colors. And if you didn't look right in it, that's your problem. And it was funny because I always, Joni, the guys loved Joni. Wow. And she would always look great in her outfits.
Yeah.
And then I'd put mine on and be like, I don't look the same. It's the same outfit. And,
while we're on the topic of dresses, Ruth. Yes. So, the Pointer Sisters came out in 1973 with their debut album, produced by David Rubinson. Yes We Can was on that album.
Yeah.
And on that album, and in your appearances at that time, you were wearing these fabulous dresses that were 1940s style. Well, that's Sister Sledge.
Take that one down.
It'll come up there, and it'll all make sense. No,
That's Sister Sledge.
We'll go through it. A little more Sister Sledge, and we'll get to the Pointer Sisters. 1, 2, there we go.
Yeah.
So, tell us what inspired this look, because that was very bold to kind of go for a retro look at that time.
Poverty.
Okay.
Really, that's where it all started, because we were always, like I said, singing in my dad's church, and my father was pastor of a church in Oakland that wasn't really a big church, and my dad made $85 a week, and there were 6 of us, and we only had new clothes twice a year. Christmas and Easter, and that was because we were going to church. And
leading the choir and some
yeah, and singing in the choir, and so we had to have new things for that. But basically, we shopped at thrift stores and secondhand stores for most of our clothes, and we got used to wearing those clothes. And as we got older, we got a little more selective.
Yeah.
When we would go to the thrift stores and we started seeing things with Saks tags on the back, really well-known designer things, we were like, ooh, this is nice. Nice fabrics, crepes and satins and silks. And I was like, ooh, we can't afford this stuff if it's new.
Right.
So we would wear the secondhand things, and it felt almost like they had a spirit in those clothes, because we were really, really obsessed with 30s and 40s music. Billie Holiday movie was just coming out during that time with Diana Ross, and there was a lot of attention being paid to women back in the 30s and 40s during that time. Billie Holiday and Bessie Smith, and we were just attracted to that whole period, and we were listening to a lot of the old records.
Old songs.
We had records, big ones, and we played them incessantly over and over and over again, and we just got that spirit in us of doing those, Charleston dances and jitterbug and all that, and it seemed like the feeling of the music that we were listening to went with the clothes, and we were just wearing the clothes because they were fun.
Yeah.
They were fun. I mean, even if we weren't singing or doing an engagement, we would be walking down the streets in San Francisco with some of those clothes on, and people would be looking at us like, where are they going with them clothes on? You know, and it was just fun to get the kind of attention just because what we were wearing. And so when we got ready to do the album, our manager, David Rubinson, said, why don't you just wear those clothes? You guys wear those clothes all the time, so just wear them. We thought, okay. So that's what we were. Actually, on the cover of the first album, I have on one of my mother's hats. And when my mother's church friends found out that we loved that stuff, child, they went in their closets and in their basements and attics, and they pulled out some real good things like fox furs and long gloves, and ooh, we were having a good time.
I am so glad that we have video footage of you performing in this. Oh my God! Can we bring up the Pointer Sisters right about now?
Hey baby, you got to make
The Harlem Club.
music in that one clip than a lot of people do in years.
Lord, wow, that's amazing.
So, yeah. And if that wasn't amazing enough, let's go to the 17th Annual Grammy Awards. March 1st, 1975. The Grammy category for Best Country Vocal Performance, Duo, or Group, the nominees were Chris Christopherson and Rita Coolidge, Willie Nelson and Tracy Nelson, Bobby Bear and Bobby Bear Jr., the Statler Brothers, and another family group, the Pointer Sisters, who were nominated for a song that Anita and Bonnie wrote called Fairy Tale. Guess who won that award?
Wow.
But Ruth, tell us what happened when you went to the Grand Ole Opry.
Okay. Well, you know, it was amazing because actually we were on the road when we won the Grammy, and we didn't even realize we had won. And I think my mother called and said, "You guys won a Grammy." And I'm like, "For what?" Fairy Tale. We could not believe it. They invited us to the Grand Ole Opry, and what actually happened was they were giving us a party, and we arrived at the party and got out of the car, and someone came running out to the car and said, come on, hurry up, we need you to get in. So they led us around the back door, and we came in the back door because we're thinking, we're going to be a surprise for everybody. We stayed in the back and waited for them to come out and bring us out so we could surprise everybody. And we were back in the kitchen waiting and waiting. Finally, our manager, David Rubinson, came back and he said, "What are you guys doing back here?" And we said, "Well, they brought us back here because I thought we were supposed to be surprising everybody." He went ballistics. He said, "This is not a surprise. They thought you were the help." Oh, really? We just thought it was hilarious. So he brought us out into the party, and of course a lot of people were looking really embarrassed, because they had hid us out in the kitchen. Everybody was partying out front, and we were supposed to be the guests of honor. But I guess, we weren't the right color, so they thought we were the help, as the movie says. But we did go to the Grand Ole Opry a couple of days after that, and we were the first African-American female group to ever sing at the Grand Ole Opry, and we're on stage, and a young man down front said, "Hot damn, the girls was black." Sing it again. Country folk are really weird in Nashville too. If they say sing it again, you sing it again. The same song. We sang it like 2 or 3 times right in a row. Every time we finished, they said sing it again.
Wow. I would have stayed.
Yeah, oh yeah. We say sing it, we sing it.
So at the time when this was happening, and even today, the power structure of the music industry is very male-dominated.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that just have set ideas about women. And one of those things is how many songs you play on the radio in a row by female artists.
Wow.
There's an unwritten rule in Top 40, and it's unwritten, so you can't find it. You can't Google this. It's only been told to me by radio programmers. You don't play 2 songs in a row with a female vocalist. Because they treat female artists as a genre to be mixed in. It might be a little bit better today, but we have some charts from Casey Kasem that show, back in the day, the first one is 1972, you see 8 women on that chart. Now, Roberta Flack's at number 1, but there's only 20% women on that chart. We go to 1973, it's even less, it's 13% women. Go to 1975, after you won the Grammy, and it's a little bit better, it's 18%. But I would be really curious to know among all of you, how did you sort of navigate encountering sexism or limited ideas about women's place in music? Whoever wants to start off with that question.
Why me?
There was such a strength to me, a sort of sense of strength with you.
Okay, we'll go with age. That's all right, I'm good with it. But what is interesting is there's three, because basically people thought that, we were from Philadelphia, and kind of we were. For the first 10 years of our career, it was spent in Philadelphia. Sarah and I are from New Jersey, but 30 minutes on the train, we were there. And we spent most of our time rehearsing there. But it's always been a problem in terms of being able to, from the songs you would sing from the early days until you had, there were songwriters, i.e. Carole King and Ellie Greenwich, who was a friend of mine who wrote songs in the late 50s, early 60s in the Brill Building. So we had female writers behind the scene, but the majority, they were paired with a partner, a male partner. There were very few female writers in terms of on their own. And then you had the majority of the labels. I only I heard of one woman who was a label owner. That was Florence Greenberg, who owned the label that the Shirelles were on. And that was the only female label owner or head of a label that I knew of still to this day, you have Sylvia Rhone, you have some other women who, I'm not going to name everybody, and there aren't that many, so I could probably do it. So there wasn't much a precedent set for women. The women who were making strides were primarily artists themselves, performers, who, by the nature that they were up front, after they stepped out of big bands or wherever they were able to come from, they were the ones who were making changes and becoming businesswomen and also writing songs and pushing forward. But still, to this day, it is a male-dominated industry. It is assumed that if you're a woman, if you walk in the door, you are an artist. You are not a label owner. Having been one myself, I know that when I would go to meetings, people thought, "Oh, you must be the artist here, or the creative director, not the actual person who is doing the business day to day, understanding about marketing and promotion, and running a label." So it's difficult for women to, in every industry, as I think a lot of the people here would be able to attest to bridge, to go beyond that. It's another unspoken and sometimes spoken, and spoken very loudly, rule that, if you're a woman, you are more of a creative side of things rather than the actual business. If you walk in the room with a man, they assume the man is the person in power. And it's not, it's not that it's, what is it? It is sexist. It is, it has that part to it, but it's also something that I think it's difficult to bridge because you, as a woman, and many women want to be mothers and housewives, and which is really running a business in a different way, really, I gotta say. So it's a very delicate thing to balance, to be feminine, of the feminine side of the species, and also be a business person and have people see you not as an object in many ways, but to see you as someone who also has a brain attached to the rest of you.
Hello.
I just have to be a little blunt about it, but yes, you have a brain attached as well. So the music business has changed, it has evolved. I'm sure that the four of us sitting up here have taken the reins in our own lives over time because we've learned and we've been burnt, and so we had to learn. And that's where, to me, it has evolved. And there are more women in positions of, for lack of another word, power in the world today, from government through day-to-day businesses, corporations that we see on television. So it's changed, but it still has a way to go.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about that?
I'm sorry, I talked too long.
No, please.
No, I agree with all the above. It's true. I think there's always going to be, I think, the challenge. You are a woman, I think, but I do think we are, thank goodness we're living in a day and age where, because everything's so accessible and you can get your ideas out there, I think that that's a good thing. It's a great thing. And so many artists have found a way to circumnavigate the madness. We can just do our music and we can get it out to the audience, to the people that we want to hear, without that middle company. Without, and I think that's a great thing. So it is always evolving.
Ruth, what did your band member say to you one time?
Oh, God. We had a band member that actually, he was on that clip playing the piano. Yeah. Tom Salisbury, he came to us and said, I can't do this anymore. I said, what's wrong? He said, we make more money than you guys. And this was our band, and they loved us to death.
Wow.
We played with them for a long, long time. He said, you guys have no idea what the managers and the agents are doing to you, and you guys are out here killing yourselves and singing your heart out, and they'll give us whatever we want, and you guys take the hit, I just thought it was very honest of him, and he's still a very good friend today. He lives in Holland. I see him every time we go over there. But yeah, it was not even a second thought that our manager wanted to make sure that the band was taken care of, all guys. Probably because if he didn't, they probably would have kicked his behind. Really, we've seen fist fights and all kinds of things out there when the guys weren't happy. I don't know, me and my sisters, we've had a few too.
Yes.
We've had a few fights.
Wow. Miss Fleming, what are your thoughts?
Our first choice, by the time we came out, of course, in 72, the manager that we had, okay, I'm getting wrong, he did some stealing, but we didn't see it. We were sheltered from, which I think, to this day, I thank him for. I have forgiven him for a lot of other things. We didn't see, like say for instance, the band, Ruth was saying their band, well, our band got paid less than we did, although we didn't get a whole lot. But he kept us away from the alcohol and drugs and all that kind of stuff. He sheltered us a great deal. Like I heard Nona say, the chicken circuit. Chicken, right.
No, chitlin.
Chitlin, that's what I remember my mom saying.
Yeah, there is a chicken circuit.
No, but the chitlin circuit is the for real circuit.
We came along. We didn't actually, he kept us from a lot of those areas. We never played the chitlin.
No, I'm sure you did.
We did, but I had my older sisters, my older brothers. They schooled me before I went out there, and they were on stands back, like crazy.
Stand the man.
Oh yeah, Watson. But
And he was the guy sitting.
oh
in that
yeah,
first album course.
yeah. He thought he was part of the group. Yeah, he would be in all of the records. And
Yeah,
stuff.
inserting himself.
But yeah, we didn't. We didn't get to see or have any experiences like that. But I think Ruth for sharing that, because it's something we definitely did not know. Putting them in the kitchen, thinking that they're the help, and so I bow to you for that, definitely.
Yeah.
And Ray Charles, I mean, I remember seeing his show and the movie that he did, Jamie Foxx. Yeah, and he didn't do a concert because of that reason. Didn't want the blacks to come in the concert. So, yeah, I think.
Did he squeeze your wrist?
Yes.
Actually, we were joking about that earlier because my sisters and I worked with Ray Charles, and until we saw the movie, he really did. He would kind of size you up by the size of your wrist.
That's right.
And I was like, that's what he was doing. But I do want to say, in the line of managers, one thing I do want to speak out about is our mother was our manager.
Yes.
And that was at the time when it was taboo to have your mom as a manager. And that day they called them, the early days, you were the backstage mom. And that was a cool thing, from Usher to Justin Bieber. The moms do manage, but we were very sheltered too. We were like the Waltons. I mean, we toured with Rick James for like 2 or 3 months, and I never knew he got high. Rick James gets high. But he was the nicest person ever. And our grandma. He was such a gentleman. Bill Cosby, we opened Vegas for him for the whole summer run twice. Never anything out of line. And he'd give us advice, and then again, our grandmother was with us too on the road. So. But on a serious note, being a pioneer in that time, they used to call them backstage moms, but really, she was it was a lot to do what she did. So she was very powerful.
Yeah. We should have had one of those.
Everybody.
Got a lot on the road. A lot of things don't get by.
Mine's just doing it backstage.
Yes.
At home.
I'd love to go to Nightbirds now, if you don't mind. Nightbirds, the Bell, 1974. So as we can see from the cover, that outfit's got a little more flamboyant, right?
Oh my
So each of you seem to embody a different character. And so I wonder, what sort of input did you have into the creation for each of those costumes for you? What did you want to project?
Well, it's a bit difficult for me to speak for Patty or Sarah, because they would talk with Larry, whoever, about what they were going to wear. And I think Larry and Richard got to know us well enough over time that they were able to go away and design things based on our personalities. I mean, we became friends. It wasn't just that they were designing things and, we would hang out with them. It was really a wonderful time of, before people had bodyguards and crews and posses and and the artists, you had to go call the assistant's assistant to talk to anybody. We were just together. We would go down to Larry's store in the village and Moonstone, and he had Larry was really out there, and he had the place looked like a moonscape. And we would go there and we would hang out, and he would design things, we'd try things on. And Richard Urker was a jeweler, and he would I'm still wearing his ring to this day. And so it wasn't, it wasn't like he'd go to the designer and the designer would say, oh, you girls should look like this. And that, It was more about them creating things that embodied our personalities. And I guess that's what we were. I guess our personalities were, a bit like that. And so, I did wear a lot of whips and chains and handcuffs. So maybe, I was kind of seen as the dominatrix of the group. And Patty was always kind of, she was the earth mother type, and Sarah was like a little sex kitten, sex pot. And that evolved over time, just from our personalities and them getting to know us.